Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. And we're here today to talk about our fave, Real Housewives of Atlanta. You guys, let me tell y'all what Andy does that I don't like. Okay? So, first of all, I'm stealing this from my mom. Like, I'm not subscribed to Xfinity. And you want to know why? Because it's like $1,200 a month. It's ridiculous. So, I have to record it and then I can watch it. But I can't watch it until after the recording is done. And Andy is so fucking shady that he puts Watch What Happens Live along with Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you record Real Housewives of Atlanta, it does not stop after that. It stops after Watch What Happens Live. And I think that's so freaking shady. Like, that's a way for him to definitely get ratings. Like, I don't watch that shit. Like, I don't watch it no more. I'm sorry. I'm not enthused. Plus, he had Marlo on there tonight. Pass. Okay, we gonna talk about her later. But let's get into it. I just had a whole rant, you guys. It's okay. All right, it's okay. All right, let's get into it. All right, so we start out as usual with, seeing everybody at home doing things with their families. And then we see Kenya on the phone with Marlo, and they're talking about doing something for Sheree, have a massage, some drinks, and everything. Kenya sounds all in, and we just gonna keep it right there. Like, I'm not gonna jump ahead, but she sounds all in. Like, they're planning it together. Marlo says, listen, we can have it over here. Kenya's like, that sounds great. I like that. Let's do it. Sounds like fun, right? Okay. All right, so then we're at home with Sheree, and her daughter comes in. She's helping her fold a sheet. They're talking about Tyrone. She lets us know that he has called several times. The next time she talked to him after he stood her up, he was just like, hey, like nothing happened. And she's like, you ain't try to apologize. You ain't try to say, babe, let me explain. No, nothing. And so she said, after that, she said, listen, I got to go. And she just never called him back. So her daughter's like, and she's telling her daughter, she hasn't been feeling good. Not hasn't been feeling good, but she hasn't left the house. She's humiliated, and you know, and her daughter's just like, yeah, we got to get you out the house. She's telling her daughter, oh, I don't really want to get in the streets because I'm not sure that I'm really done with it. And her daughter's like, really? Y'all, you got to be very careful the things that you do and say with your kids. Even though her daughter is grown, they're still watching you. And I'm not going to tell my business, but I had a situation where my daughter saw me being like completely stupid for someone and questioned me like, yo, what are you doing? And I made lots of excuses for this person, like, oh no, surgeries and he's not himself and this and that. And that is a huge regret. Like, I will never in life, like, and I've gone back and told her, babe, now, once you get out of it and you're no longer in love and you're no longer, seeing through these rose colored glasses, you can say, oh my God, I was just being like an idiot. So I've gone back and told her, listen, babe, what I did, you were perfect. You were right. And you were only like 18, 19 years old, questioning me like, yo, what are you doing? And, I, being in love, made up all these excuses. Don't ever do that. But of course, I can tell her, don't ever do that. She's going to do what she's going to do and learn for herself. But I just wanted her to know, yeah, mama's not dumb. Sorry that it came off that way and that, you questioned and you called it out and I didn't see it and I didn't, I don't want you to ever do what I did again. Nothing that you can do in terms of, her learning for herself. But I did want to let her know that, listen, I am woke now. Mom is woke, and this will never happen again. And it has not, and it will not, because I will never be that far gone that I completely lose myself and, like make excuses for a man ever, like ever in life. So, yeah, Sheree, like it just, the fact that she called her daughter during the thing, she was en route or whatever, and her daughter already seemed like, I'm not really about him. And then you call your daughter after it happens and let her know what he did. It's not looking good, and you don't want to look that way to your kids. You don't. And it breaks my heart to see her and hear her doing that with her daughter. And her daughter's just like, okay, but if he comes back, he got to come correct. Like, she's calling the shit out. Like she should, as she should. And Sheree is still in the honeymoon state and in love and all that. So she's not getting it yet, but hopefully she will soon. Like for real, hopefully she will soon. Yeah, so next we see Kenya getting out the car, going to a restaurant, and she looks fabulous, you guys. I have to give it to Kenya this season so far. She is glowing. I don't know if it is this post Dancing with the Stars body and everything. Like she is killing. She's killing. I mean, she's always been a beautiful woman, but she looks really good. Like she looks like she's glowing. She just really does. And she's smiling a lot. She's like in a better place, in a better mood, I guess. So she's meeting Drew. Drew comes walking in a red suit. Y'all, I'm gonna try very hard not to just really, really go in on Drew. I'm gonna try. But yeah, she's very irritating. Her wig already looks a mess, and she does a little spin when Kenya gives her a compliment. And I'm just like, sit your ass down. Please, it's not that nice. Y'all, Drew makes it so easy to go in on her. She's such a goof troop, I swear to God. So they're sitting there talking. Kenya's saying how she wished they had a better relationship last year because they have a lot in common in terms of losing their voices in their marriages. Okay, great. And then they start ordering, and he's telling them how many different. Drew's like, what kind of shrimp do you have? He's telling them all the different shrimp. King is like, one of each, and she's like, oh wait, are you paying? Drew, oh my God, Drew. So then we do a flashback of Kenya saying, if you got to split the bill, they were at a restaurant before. And Drew is like, oh, we're splitting the bill. And Kenya's like, no, I'll do the bill. I'm not splitting no damn bill. And she's like, broke bitches split bills. So she told her today, yeah, I'll pay. Like, I'm not splitting the bill with you. So whatever you want is on me. And I'm like, Drew is so, oh, she has zero class whatsoever. I swear to God. And this is the same person who was just like, oh my God, I make a lot of money. Do you guys want to see all the money I make? Which of course she wasn't about to bring up. But girl, she just make herself look so stupid all of the time. All the time. Okay, and so at this dinner, we find out that Kenya stayed a couple more days in New York. She stayed after with Brooklyn, and Brooklyn saw her dad, spent the night with him for the first time, and she was fine with that. And I just feel like Kenya's a dumbass. I'm sorry. She's still in that place. Like, she feels like she came out of it and everything, but with um, the comment she made last episode about no, 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 I'm gonna do whatever I can to let him see her, even though he's telling you drop her off, pick her up. He don't want to do anything extra, like she's forcing the baby on him. No. And I would have never stayed longer. He told you to come pick your baby up. Why are you staying days longer for him? I'm sorry. Mark is full of shit, and unfortunately, she wants her baby to have a father so bad that she's doing whatever he says and jumping through hoops for him. And I just wouldn't do it. I mean, I know, yeah, it's great for the kid to have a father and everything. It's ideal. That's what it's supposed to be. But you shouldn't have to chase him and make him do anything. And I feel like that's what she's doing. All right, so then we get to Sonya, and Drew just says she thinks that it's a non-issue. What she talking about? Like, what is she coming up with? And Kenya's like, yeah, I had a walk with her, and she was talking about the different things you're doing, and I think that, she's hearing other women say, some things, and she's like, oh, and she's being a follower, like she doesn't have a mind of her own. And Kenya's like, no, but I don't know. So Kenya's like, well, she has this whole thing coming up. Are you going? And she was like, yeah, I was invited. And then she said, I was uninvited then. So Zanya ends up sending her a text message saying, morning. I was saying yesterday that I think it's best you skip the shoot because I don't want it to end up being all about our conversation in New York. I would prefer us to follow up on our conversation when it doesn't involve work stuff. And excuse me. So she definitely disinvited her. And Kenya's like, what? And listen, I ain't mad at Sonya for that. Yeah, I wouldn't want her there either. Drew, beat it. Beat it, Drew. All right, guys. So we end this scene with Drew begging. No, she didn't beg, but she asked Kenya to unblock her on Instagram. And I'm just like, Drew is such a definite pick me, be my friend. Please, let's all get along. Like, oh my God, she's so desperate. Like, I just feel like she's so desperate. She makes herself look so bad all the time. So, listen, I know there are some Drew lovers. I do, but I ain't one of them. All right, so it's the day of Sonya's photo shoot, which I didn't know was an actual photo shoot. But Candy comes in. She comes in with a um, suitcase. So obviously she knew she was going to be, doing some things. And Sonya tells her that it was supposed to be her and Drew, but last minute she had to switch it to Kenya. And Candy's like, "You sent her an official disinvite?" And she's like, "Yeah." So they start laughing. Kenya comes in and Sonya's like, "Yo, where's the rest of your stuff?" And she's like, "Oh, you expecting me to model? Like, I knew it was a photo shoot, but I didn't know I was supposed to be doing something. You ain't talked to my agent." And I'm like, "Yes, Kenya, that's what I'm talking about." She's taking full advantage of the fact that she got these girls on the show that she know. Now, I'm not saying Sonya's no one, but she's not as well known as these girls. So you about to get some free press and full promo. Shout out to Alexander Rogers. But yeah, so then they found out that she wants them to be on their Black Friday promotional, things. And they're like, "Oh, so not only are we doing this for free, but we're cheap. Like, you really got me on Black Friday." Candy was like, "What the fuck I look like?" I'm like, "Exactly. She is taking advantage." I don't like it, Sonya. I don't like it. All right, so the photo shoot actually turned out to be cute, even though, I mean, it says Mommy Nation, the hoodies that they're selling. It was nothing great, but I mean, it was fine. I guess Mommy Nation is a podcast for, mommies. But anyway, it turned out well. And afterwards, they started talking. They're talking about Sheree. Kenya's telling them what happened and the fact that there's photos online of her sitting there alone crying. And Candy's like, "She was crying," because y'all know Sheree don't really cry. And then they're, talking about Tyrone and the fact that this is Candy's second time saying that he was with somebody else. And I don't know that I like that because I don't know that I like that. I mean, I understand they talking about how Sheree's not giving him any or whatever, and Candy's like, "Yeah, he's with that other lady who's actually giving him some." It may be for real. I mean, that may be what it is, but I don't know that I like her really saying that and keep, like pushing that narrative. Like, you didn't like when people pushed a different narrative about Todd. So why are you just coming up with this? Like, you're just pulling this out the air and you keep speaking it like it's facts. I don't know. I just don't like it. But at this point, it doesn't matter because Sheree is shitty to her anyway. So say whatever you got to say. Sheree keeps calling you a hoe. So who cares? Um, and of course, I'm jumping ahead, but still. So they're talking about, Kenya's letting them know that they're going to end up doing something with her. All the single ladies. So it's just her, Marlo, and Sheree. And again, she sounds all in. But you can also tell that she's congested. As soon as Kenya got there to this photo shoot, you can hear the congestion in her voice. So keep that in mind. Okay? All right, so next we're at Marlo's, and she has the Fendi people there for a shopping experience. And she said Kenya's coming with all the sweets and everything, and she has all of these favorite foods of Sheree. And she's like, one day, hopefully, she'll do it for me. And then Kenya calls and lets her know that she can't make it because she's under the weather. And Marlo's like, but your face is fully beat. No, matter of fact, she actually doesn't say that to her. That's what I don't like about Marlo. She says everything in confessional. And she didn't say it to her though. She was just like, "Oh, okay, okay. Well, I hope you feel better." And the whole time she's like, "Oh, she's lying. Her face is fully beat." And yeah, but Kenya tells her that she got Drew bringing over the stuff, that she needs or whatever. So all right, so next we're doing a little flip flopping, and we are at the Jamaican store, the Caribbean grocery store with Sonya and her mom. And Sonya is telling her mom about Drew and the fact that, she had to disinvite her and she's not sure about her. And, Drew is kind of really trying it with her. And she's like, "Listen, they keep calling me Sonya, Sonya, Sonya. They gonna get the real Sonya." Then we get over to Marlo's and Drew arrives. She has eggs. And Marlo is like, "Why she got pink eggs?" First of all, they're not pink eggs. They're in the pink carton. I like brown eggs. So they're supposed to be making cupcakes. And Drew was like, me and Sheree was just fighting and everything. And now with these hands, I am making some love cupcakes. So they're talking, and she's asking Drew if she really thinks that if Kenya is sick. And she's like, because she was at Sonya's thing yesterday, did you go? And, Drew was like, no, did you go? She wasn't invited. So they're talking about how they think Sonya is just using them too because they have a lot of followers or whatever. Could be. Listen, I'm not all Team Drew. I mean, not Drew, Team Sonya. Sonya be on some bullshit too. She really do. And I think what she pulled was some bullshit. So yeah. But I don't know. I mean, Marlo is just a troublemaker and she's just not pleasant to be around. So why would I want you to be there anyway? Like, she's not someone that I would want to hang out with because her mouth is reckless just for no good reason. So yeah. Then we get back to the store with Drew, not Drew, Sonya and her mom. So back at the store, y'all, all we hear is Sonya's mama telling her, "Don't let Drew get under your skin, cause Drew don't want none of this. Drew don't want none." When I tell you, she was doing her fingers and her listen, she did the mama lips like she's not playing. Sonya's mom is not playing. And Sonya wasn't even trying to stop her or whatever. She was like, yeah, because she talking stuff. Listen, Drew don't want it. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I really hope Drew's mom is around. Not Drew's mom. Sonya's mom is around Drew at some point in time. I would love to see it. So then we see Sheree. She's at home. She is talking about how she's been snacking. She's just been chilling. And we see her running around in her pajamas, eating some chips. And she's just going on and on about these sea salt chips, which would, it explains the title of the show this time is Don't Be Sea Salty. And she's like, it's just the perfect thickness. It's the perfect type of salt. It's the perfect. I'm like, girl, why are you going on and on about these chips? So Marlo calls her and tells her to throw something on, look sexy, look cute or whatever. And a car is coming for her. So Sheree gets in the car and there's a blindfold on the handle. She's like, what is this? He's like, Marlo would like for you to put that on before I pull off. It's going to mess up my hair. And I'm like, girl, just put the damn thing on. Like, really, put the thing. You go into Marlo's house. And none of this made sense to me. She didn't want to put it on because it was going to mess up her hair, but she put it on. It's 10 minutes to Marlo's house. And I feel like, why are we doing this, Marlo? You're not taking her any place special. You're taking her to your house. Why does she need to be blindfolded? It just makes no sense. But Marlo makes no sense. Y'all, Sheree in this car talking to herself, talking about how she hasn't eaten and she thinks she gonna make herself some breakfast when she get back home. And she asked the driver, "Can you tell me, kind of where we going?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. That's why he have you with a blindfold on." And he's like, "All I can tell you is when we stop, we'll be at our destination." And I'm like, "Makes sense." We're back at the house and Marlo is decorating a cake. And I'm like, I could have sworn y'all just made cupcakes, so I don't understand. But she's decorating a cake with I love me and all kind of stuff. She ordered some food that came and Drew's hungry ass, drop it with Drew, is like, oh my God, can I have a to go plate? Like, none of this is for her. She's not even supposed to be there. She dropped off some desserts for Kenya. You're not supposed to be there. There was an ant, and she's like, oh my God, not at Marlo Hampton's. And Marlo's like, well, at least it ain't a roach. It's an ant. It's fine. So Drew is always trying to be shady, but because it's Marlo, I'll allow it. Yeah, she's so greedy and okay, so when Sheree gets there, Marlo comes to get her out the car, and they're acting like she had to guess that it was Marlo. And I'm like, Marlo told you she was sending the car for you, so you knew you were going to see Marlo. Don't understand, but I did, however, see the cupcakes. They showed the cupcakes, them flat cupcakes. So she tells her before she go in, they have to reenact the whole ooh ooh, where they both look so dumb. They both look so dumb on that episode. I was so irritated. So Sheree does it. They go in the house. Marlo tells her that she brought a Fendi shopping experience for her. She has a foot massage plan. She have all these, this food and everything for her because she wants her to, remember who she is. And fuck Tyrone, don't ever forget who you are. And I won't lie, I feel like if Marlo chose to be a real friend to someone, like for real, she could probably be a good friend. Like she gives us these glimpses of a good person in there. And she's an Aquarius, so she's not all bad, guys. I'm an Aquarius, so yeah, she's not all bad, but she just choose to do too much. And I don't know if it's just for the show, but Marlo does too much. But in this instance, I will give her, it was very nice. She wants to do something to cheer up Sheree. Very sweet. And they have come a very long way. So they have this shopping experience, and yeah, once Sheree finds everything she wants, it comes to almost $12,000. And Marlo is like, okay guys, pack it up, she'll give you your credit card and let's go. Sheree is in the confessional like, bitch, I thought you was gonna gift me with something. Like, this is nice and all, but I didn't come to your house to be out of almost $12,000. So she did though. She bought some things, and not all cute things, but I guess because they're Fendi, it's fine. Okay, so they end up having a talk, and Sheree is saying how she know he, she's upset with him, but she knows he loves her. And Marlo is like, "How do you know?" And she's like, "Okay, let me ask you this: if your baby girl comes to you and she's like, he stood me up, but I know he loves me, what are you gonna say?" And Sheree is like, "Damn, it kind of hit me when you put it that way." And I'm like, "Duh, girl." But again, I can't talk. I mean, shoot, most of us have been there. Not to this extent, especially not, yeah, not to this extent. But she said she had an aha moment and she's really ready to be done because, at first she just kept saying, "Oh, I'm not really ready. I'm not really ready." But if you put her daughter in this situation, then it kind of makes her ready. But I'm like, you're steady telling your daughter every bad thing he's doing to you. So how is that any better? But at least she had her aha moment. So good for her. All right, so Marlo shows Sheree pictures of herself that's online with her crying. And she's like, "I look sad as fuck, don't I?" And Marlo's like, "Yeah, girl, you do." So she starts crying. Marlo goes to, console her, which again, very sweet of Marlo. And she said that she's awake now. Like it took, a lot. And I'm like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Like, is she still talking to him? Do we know? Do we know if Sheree is still talking to this man? If you know, please let me know in the comments because I would love to know. All right, y'all. So it's time to almost wrap it up. We are at Sonya's little cooking thing that she's giving, a little cooking class, and she has a steel drum player. She has everything set up very nicely. It looks really good. All right, so the ladies are arriving. Everybody is super happy. Everything is very upbeat. Marlo comes and she's like, "Man, Jamaica, man." And I'm like, is that offensive? I don't know. They weren't offended, I guess. So I guess not. Oh, excuse me. And then Candy comes in and she has Mama Joyce with her. And I thought it was so sweet the way Mama Joyce and Sonya's mom, met. And she's just like, "Oh my God, thank you for coming. You're so beautiful." That's kind of the first time I've ever seen Sonya's mom be nice and with a smile on her face. So she is, sincerely happy to meet Mama Joyce. So that's cool. And Mama Joyce was being nice. Probably because Todd ain't there. All right, so in getting started, we talk about who's missing. Drew is missing. Sonya said she did not want to come. She opted out. And she said, "Listen, I know we need to talk." She was definitely invited. I thought that we could go to the side and talk while everybody cooked. But again, she opted out. So she gave them these aprons that she made. Excuse me, guys. And it said Gal better can cook. And King is like, "It doesn't go with my Balmain." And then she said, "Actually, it's Balmain." And I'm like, because I did think to myself, is it Balmain or I thought it was Balmain? And it is Balmain. But she put it on and they got to cooking. They're cooking curry goat, I think, and plantains and what's the other stuff that they eat? Like oxtails or something, I think. So they all get to cooking. So Kenya is asking Sonya's mom how to know, how to pick a good plantain. And she's like, because I normally pick the green ones. And Sonya's mom is like, no, it needs to be brown and kind of soft. And Marlo comes over, oh, yeah, soft, like when you can't get the man hard or whatever. And Sonya's mom's trying to be a good sport, but she did a look like, and I'm just like, Marlo, again, she has no couth whatsoever. You have people's mothers here. Like, you have elders right in front of you, and you just don't give a shit. Marlo is just so, oh, God. Wait, so Kenya said, no, that's the 70-year-olds you date. And Marlo says, no, they take the blue pill. And all of that sounded very real to me. Because, yeah, what do you mean you can't get it hard? Like, what are you talking about, Marlo? When does that happen? Anyway, yeah, good comeback from Kenya and also a good comeback from Marlo. They take the blue pill, and I believe her. All right, so as they're cooking, Kenya turns around and coughs, and they're like, "Ooh, girl." Marlo's like, "If you sick, you should probably go home. I mean, especially since you couldn't make it yesterday." Candy's like, "I don't want to get sick." Marlo's like, "What'd you say, Candy? You don't want to get sick?" And when Kenya turns around, they talk about, Marlo's like, so does Candy know what happened? Sheree, can I tell her? And I'm like, why would you want to like humiliate her even further in front of all of these people and talk about it? Like, you just did a whole party to cheer her up, and now you want to shit on her by doing this in front of all these people? Okay. And Sheree looks uncomfortable. Like, she want to be like, no, not really, but uh Kenya says, I already told um Candy. And Sheree is like, oh, well, I probably should have told her, but okay. Because Kenya's like, should I not have told her? Was it a secret? And she's like, oh, well, I probably should have told her, but okay. Then Sheree gets mad because Candy didn't call her. And I'm like, girl, she's like, well, Jude found out and she called me and I didn't tell her. Okay. And Candy was like, well, I was waiting for you to say something. Like, why would I call you and be like, oh, excuse me, guys, why would I call you and be like, oh, hey, by the way, I heard he stood you up, you were crying, it was all terrible or whatever, how you doing? And furthermore, they're not that cool, you guys. They're just not that cool, because it's so easy for Sheree to turn on Candy and call her a hoe and just talk real bad about Candy. So the fact that Sheree wants Candy to bend over backwards to show support and be there for me. Girl, you still acting stupid. You still want to talk to this man or whatever. So why do you want so many people to be there for you? What are you talking about, Sheree? She was so irritating on this episode. Well, in this particular part where she's just like, support me, be there for me, call me. What are you talking about? Like, so then we get to Sheree and Kenya, and Sheree saying that she's surprised that Kenya wasn't there to support her, and she was very disappointed. And Kenya was like, I was sick. What did you want me to do? And she's like, yeah, but you had a full face of glam on. So of course that's what Marlo went back and told her, because she don't know. She wasn't there. And she's like, yeah, because I was preparing to come. And then the doctor called and was like, you probably need to get tested. So I got tested. And Sheree is like, let me see. Bitch, who are you to be like, let me see your COVID test? Are you kidding me? You're not paying me. You're not my freaking employer. What are you talking about, Sheree? I just really wanted you there to support me. Kenya was there for you on the phone. Like, does that not mean anything? She doesn't get the benefit of the doubt of anything. The fact that she was there, she was the one that you called, she tried to help you feel better or whatever, that doesn't mean anything. And like, so Kenya's telling her, listen, don't question me. I fuck with you. Don't question me. And she's like, I fuck with you too. Let me see. Sheree is out of bounds. She is so out of bounds. But hanging around with Marlo, that's what it's going to get you. And Marlo needs to go. And especially after that shit she pulled with this whole Candy thing and Candy being fucked out in Atlanta, Marlo is like really bringing the brand down. She is like, the stuff that comes out of her mouth, it's not even cool. It's just way too far. So Mama Joyce tell them to cut it out. Cut it out. Stop all that arguing over this mess. And she's like, she said she was sorry. So what happened? Not Marlo. Sheree says, "Listen, Marlo, I took your advice. I blocked him, but I ain't saying this forever." That's what I'm saying. She's just a dumbass, and she keeps letting everybody know. Like that's her warning. That's her disclaimer, so that if you ever see her talking to him or see her with him or whatever, she already letting y'all know that she ain't done for good. And Mama Joyce is like, "No, you need to block him forever. I wouldn't have stayed with him for a month." And Kenya is like, "But your daughter did." And I'm like, "What?" And Marlo says, "Yeah, her baby daddy was in jail." And that's when Sheree starts getting on Candy about, not supporting her because she been through the same. I don't know nothing about her baby daddy being in jail and all that or whatever, but I just felt like that was strange for Kenya, your friend, to bring up like that. But okay. So then they start talking about Drew and the fact that she didn't come. And Marlo is saying that she told her she should come anyway, and just squash everything or whatever, but she should come. And she's like, well, yeah, that's fine, if she come to this, but I didn't think it was good to have her at a work event because I was working. I didn't want to have a conversation. And Marlo's like, so who was invited? Just them? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, so we weren't invited. Talking about her and Sheree. And she's like, oh, it wasn't to offend you guys, nothing personal. And Marlo's like, listen, how do you just come along and connect with Candy in 2 weeks? I've been knowing her for years and we're just now getting cool. Marlo wants to be Candy's friend so bad. Like, oh my God. And she's like, and you just connect with her in 2 weeks? Bitch, get out of here. And I'm like, did she really just call her a bitch? Listen, Sonya's mama don't play that. So Marlo needs to watch her mouth. So then she asked Sheree to come and step outside. I guess so that they can talk about the ladies, of course. And we see Candy like, listen, she, I think in a confessional, she's like, listen, Sheree is running around after Marlo, and Marlo is trying to get her to turn on people or whatever. And this ain't a good look. Yeah, so Marlo and Sheree go sit outside. This review is running really long. But Marlo and Sheree go sit outside where they proceed to talk shit about everybody on the inside. And Sonya just strikes me as a person who's doing stuff for clout. And Candy got all these followers. That's why she picked her. And, Candy been a hoe. And Sheree is like, yep, that's true. And they like, that's why, she has to date beneath herself and she has to date below her tax bracket. And I'm like, so you gonna shit on Todd right now too? Like, that's what I'm saying. Marlo does way too much. And I wonder if they seen this before now, Todd and Candy. But Candy was already fed up from that interview she did when she was just like, she's sick of her. But Marlo, and Sheree is just a follower. She is literally just a follower, following up behind Marlo and agreeing with everything she's saying. It is definitely not a good look for Sheree. All right, so we wrap it up with them also clowning Kenya and the fact that she fucked all these rappers and never got a ring. And Sheree is like, fact. And I'm like, y'all really trying to be this girl's friend though. So I don't understand. But it ends with Drew coming in. Hey, hey. And I'm like, I'm going to get exactly what I want. I wanted to see Drew around Sonya's mom, and here we go. And from the looks of it, next week is going to be explosive, and I can't wait because don't play with Sonya, especially in front of her mom. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to see it. Sonya checked her, and then mom looked like she was probably gonna check her too. But if you are still here, thank you so much. You are the real MVP. If you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. What do you guys think about the episode? Is it getting better? I mean, it hasn't been bad. It's been fine. The season has been fine so far. So tell me what you think. Let's talk about it. All right, smooches.